If you could speak directly to Elon Musk, what would you say?
Off. Jasmine Crockett, not to be confused with Davy, is angry the train is running out of gravy.
You don't find that suspicious? You don't find that suspicious? You don't find that suspicious?
Welcome to Male Reality Lessons, where topics are reviewed and discussed as iron sharpens iron. On Male Reality Lessons today, we're going to talk about Doge. And I had a conversation with a friend, and the government in itself definitely has some inefficiencies. Whether you believe that paying $40 for a wrench is in the best interest of DOD, or you have individuals sitting in offices just merely separating the pink papers from the blue, it definitely needs to be looked on an agency by agency basis to find out if the entity in question is actually providing a benefit. But all that aside, it appears that those politicians that are career in itself are definitely screaming the loudest. And you got to ask yourself, an individual for the most part that comes into federal service, particularly politicians that never had wealth and become wealthy once their political career is over, have a vested interest in how taxpayer funds are allocated. Whether it's a USAID issue or some political pet project, these politicians that are screaming the loudest are only screaming because it seems their lifeline for future wealth and compensation may be drying up. But you don't have to believe me. Look what's happening based on the agency audits that are occurring right now.
Maybe you didn't climb a power line or ice some illegals, but you've got to send your boss something. If you don't respond, it means you did nothing. Or as Trump says, maybe you don't exist. Here's what one former federal worker says is an average day in the office.
80% of the work in government is done by 20% of the people. Our government is filled with the most incompetent and most lazy people and an occasional hard worker. And those hard workers are severely punished every time they outwork their colleagues. I use the word work very loosely. One employee spent his time remote working, running his own farm. One employee would come into the office, his start time would be 6:30, and he knew nobody would be there. And when I came in at 7:30 and I was the next person to come in, he was snoring at his desk. Every single morning. Another employee would take the government truck on an almost daily basis so that he could go out to lunch and then go and take a nap in his favorite park under a shady tree in the government truck.
And those people, they showed up at the office. Last week at the Small Business Administration, 80% of the workers were still working from home. Over the weekend, that flipped.
On Friday, it was like there were tumbleweeds blowing through the office. There were still tags left on desk chairs. And it was my first full day at the agency, and I was so excited to be able to meet people. And to not find anyone there was disappointing. To have 80% of the people back yesterday was amazing, to be able to shake hands. And what's happening is Americans are seeing that they have been paying for empty office buildings, for do-nothing bureaucrats. That ends now.
All they had to do was ask the bureaucrats to come back. It was so easy, even Biden could do it, but he didn't. Biden actually fired people who wanted to come into the office, the ones who wouldn't get vaxxed. For 4 years, Joe never tried to save the taxpayers' money. The CEO of JP Morgan says it's common sense.
The government's inefficient, not very competent, and it needs a lot of work. And so you and I, it's not just waste and fraud, it's outcomes. Why are we spending the money on these things? Are we getting what we deserve? You know, what should we change? So I think doing that needs to be done. You have to understand that whenever you go to any big institution or the government, the bureaucracy pushes back on everything. And they will hear every little thing they're going to push back on. So you have to be strong if you're going to do it. It's not just about the deficit. It's about building the right policies, procedures, and the government we deserve.
Doge has already saved you $65 billion. Big Balls just found $35 million for social and behavior change in Uganda. We can't change our behavior in America.
If you're enjoying the video, please take a moment to like, share, and subscribe to Male Reality Lessons.
Giving some of the savings from Doge back to Americans as kind of a dividend. Would you support that?
Listen, he's just telling a lie. He's not the one that had anything to do with the $1,200 refunds that people had during the midst of COVID that was done by a Democratic House and Democratic Senate. Right now, what they're going to do is say, hey, we want to give you a refund, but Congress won't let us because they already know that there's just no money for that.
Wait a minute. First of all, you're not going to speed past that like you didn't just say what you just said.
No, we are not in the business of giving out money.
Now you see now, you done fucked up, you know that, don't you?
The cost of the migrant crisis. Elon Musk's new Department of Government Efficiency is saying the U.S. spends more than 2% of its entire budget on illegal immigration. And some big cities at the heart of the crisis are not holding back. Some in Chicago criticizing the city's mayor to his face for spending more than $500 million on sheltering migrants. Meanwhile, a surprising policy shift from New York City's mayor, who now says he's open to deporting some migrants. Correspondent Alex Capriello live for us here in Chicago. So Alex, break this all down for us.
Yeah, good afternoon to you, Nicole. Right here behind me is a former hotel that's been renovated to actually house incoming migrant families. We've seen some activity throughout the course of this morning, people walking in and out, but very, very soon, beginning the first of the year, we're going to see some sweeping changes here in Chicago due to budgetary concerns. This is now the big topic, is just how much it costs when it comes to humanitarian aid for migrant families all across America. The Department of Government Efficiency, better known as DOGE, is already working hard to find areas to slash spending on the national scale. And one starting point that they're looking at is the cost of immigration. Take a look at some of these eye-popping numbers to put it all into perspective. Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy, who head DOGE, got these numbers from various sources, including one right-leaning immigration reform group. They say immigration costs American taxpayers $151 billion in 2023. Compare that to some other notable historical events adjusted for inflation. That's more money than taxpayers spent on the Manhattan Project, the Panama Canal, and the Hoover Dam, and it's about half the entire cost of World War I. So, let's talk about it even further. Some cities under the microscope more than others. Chicago, for example, is working to close a $1 billion budget shortfall. This comes after the city spent more than $500 million on sheltering migrants since August 2022. At a recent city council meeting, some Chicagoans addressed the mayor with both facts and anger. Take a look.
So I got a great way how we can what we can do with this budget. First, let's start with cutting off illegals, getting free everything. Free housing, free schooling, free food. Yeah, let's start with that. That'll save us a lot of money. What, $600 million?
Beginning the first of the year, Chicago is implementing some changes that are going to cut costs and balance the needs of Chicago's homeless with the needs of these new immigrant arrivals. It essentially eliminates the current new arrivals operations and transitions to a one shelter system for all. In another major metro, New York, it's pivoting its immigration approach with the incoming presidential administration looming. Mayor Eric Adams has backtracked on his previous stance, saying he's actually open to deporting illegal immigrants who have been charged with crimes. According to the New York comptroller, the city has spent a whopping $3.75 billion in 2024 to provide asylum to migrants. The busing of migrants to sanctuary cities has rapidly declined in recent months, and there's also improvement on the border. We just received new statistics which show that authorities have made about 47,000 arrests in the month of November on the U.S.-Mexico border. That's about a 17% decline from October. That's the best of the Biden administration so far.
And honestly, I don't know what $5,000 will do for you if you are unable to find a job, because I am telling people we are headed towards a recession because the United States government is the 15th largest employer in the world.
Well, I find it kind of amazing that you don't have money to give away, but you've given away billions to illegal migrants. And the American taxpayer is paying for it, while its compatriots in states like California, Hawaii, and North Carolina are suffering from natural disasters and are only being offered a mere pittance. But I want to hear from you in the comments section. Give me your thoughts and opinions on this topic, as well as any other topic here on Male Reality Lessons. As always, I want to thank you for watching. Smash that like button and take a look at some other videos here on the channel. Finally, have a good day.
Yeah.